Hey everybody, my name is Chris and I'm from the Dynamic Drum School, and this is week number 8 of Drum Set Jam 6. This is the last week. If you're just finding this now, check out the videos or 7 weeks before this. You can check out the link below. Watch those first. If you've been following along, hopefully you've been having a great time with this. The last week we're going to show you how to write out your own beats. So hopefully last week gave you an idea of how to write out fills. This week we're going to do the same thing, just writing out your own beats. The idea is we're going to listen to the song and give you some ideas based on what you're hearing, what the guitar or the bass is doing, to give you ideas of what you could play on the drums. So let's get started. I wanted to start a little differently this week. Instead of getting right into each level, I just wanted to break down the basic chart, and then we'll listen to the song a little bit just to show you what the basic rhythms of the bass and the guitar are. So grab the blank chart, the one with the basic form. We've got the verse, chorus, verse 2, outro, and tag, and then the rest of the chart is left blank. And we just have the counting on top of each measure, and that way you can line up your music notation with the counting on top. Then let's check out the song. We're just going to check out the basic rhythm of the bass and the guitar.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, and 4, and notice nothing on the second measure. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the guitar, we got a strum on 1, 3, and 4, and 3, and a 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 3, and a 4, and. So what's cool about that is I thought was really important was the and a 3 and the and a 4. So that's why I wanted to accent that on the bass drum. The rest of it, this will give you some ideas of what you can leave in or leave out. If you want to add things to make it busier, if you want to take away a few things to make it a little less busy. Notice too, on beats 1 and 2, there's nothing. There's like a hold with the bass, but there's nothing with the guitar. So that's why I kind of wanted to leave that blank, but you could feel free to add something there to make it a little busier. So let's check out the chorus section. Notice this is a little more driving, more eighth notes, 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and that's the bass and the guitar. So we've got 3 and 4, still that accent on the and a 3 and the and a 4. Dig it. So that to give you some options, you could, same thing, you could take away some things, add a few things. With the level 2 and level 3, I wanted to add the and of 2 because that's kind of what the accent is with the bass. Boom, 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 1 and 2 and a 3. And so I added that with the snare. So you could, like I said, add a few more things, take away a few more things if you want it to be a little more driving or a little more spacious. Then let's fast forward to the outro. So notice here, it's just the guitar in the second measure. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, bum. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and then shiki chiki 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 chiki, just 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and with the guitar. And then the bass gets a little bit busier for the tag. Boom, 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 boom. But the guitar kind of keeps that, and then the last measure, just the straight eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, so now what we'll do is I want everyone to try the same thing. Put the song on with no drums and just jam along to it. No matter what level, if you're in 1, level 2, or level 3, just jam along with the song. If you have a way to record it, that would be awesome. To experiment, break it down to some things that you like, and then try to record it. If you're a student of mine, then bring that into the lesson. See if you can try to write it out. If you have trouble with it, then we'll break that down in the lesson. But the idea is just to have fun. Just jam. Don't worry about what you're playing. Don't analyze it. Just be creative, whatever you come up with. Then after that, try to start to write it out. If you can record it, listen back. If you need to slow it down to make it a little bit easier to write out the notation, try that. And then after that, we'll try to like analyze it together in the lesson to see what works and what doesn't. So now let's break down the different levels. Or let's check out level 1. So I mentioned before that there's no bass in the second measure, and the bass is accenting the 1 and the and a 3 and the and a 4. So one thing that would be cool to try is play the bass on the 1, the 3, and the and a 4, and then leave the rest of it blank. Don't play any bass drum on the second measure, and that would sound like this. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 4, and 1, and 2. That is really cool because it totally leaves space the second measure. So another thing you can try is maybe playing the same measure twice. You could play the first, what I have written out for the first measure, and just try that for the second measure. Let's check out the chorus. I chose to go to the ride cymbal. You could decide to stay on the hi-hat. You could do open hi-hat. You could do a crash cymbal, whatever you want. You could go to a rim if you want, whatever. The other thing is, I wanted to make this a little bit busier, but I still wanted to accent the and a 3 and the and a 4 because that's what the guitar is doing. So you could decide to make this a little bit busier, or I'm going to make this a little more spacious, and I'm going to just play on the 1 and the 3 and the and a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. That could be a cool thing to try. See what would it sound like to make it a little bit busier. Then we'll skip ahead to the outro. If you wanted to maybe make this section a little bit busier, you can the bass drum on the and a 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Or you could just do that, the outro the same as the chorus, and then maybe make the tag the busiest. So that really brings the song up to another level. Another thing would be just to move, if you want to keep everything the same, you could just move the ride cymbal beat up to the bell of the cymbal. That would sound cool. It just brings it up a little bit higher in energy. So try that. If you have trouble with it, we'll just go over it in the lesson. If you find this on YouTube, feel free to just email me any comments. I'll try to answer any questions you have. But let's check out level 2. So I'll just give you one idea for level 2. I decided to make it a little bit harder from level 1 and add the open hi-hat on and a 3. Because the guitar is accenting the and a 3 and the and a 4, one thing you could do is accent and open that on both the and a 3 and the and a 4. It would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. That could sound cool. And notice I left the hi-hat closed on the second measure. So you could try it on both measures the same, or you could alternate. Also, if you want to try to come up with anything else, that'd be awesome. Then let's check out the chorus. Like I mentioned before, I decided to add the and on the snare drum on the and of 2, because that's kind of what the bass pattern is. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. You could simplify this and just keep the same measure, the same beat for both measures instead of adding the extra E on beat 3, and that would sound like this. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. And notice I left out the and of 4. That kind of gives it a nice driving sound too. You could also keep the snare hits all the same volume. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Sounds really cool. Both have just a different effect. With you a little more aggressive with the snare hits the same, or if you want to add the ghost note on the da of 2. Let's check out the outro then. You could keep the same beat if you want, and maybe just make the tag a little bit busier, or you could kind of in that second measure of the outro where there's just the guitar, you could make the beat busier, or you could maybe try a fill there. That would be really cool. And then build it up on the tag, maybe do something with the crash cymbal, or the bell of the cymbal. All right, so level 3. This, I'm hoping that you are experienced enough to jam and then write out your own stuff. So do what I said, try to record it, jam along with the no drums, record it, and then try to listen back and figure out what you wrote out. If you're a student of mine, we'll definitely try to, if you're having trouble, we'll work it out in the lesson. Also, you could slow it down, and if you're playing something that's really difficult, maybe simplify it and try to write that out. Because the idea is you just want to start to hear why you would play something in a song. Why would you play a certain bass drum pattern? Why would you play a certain snare drum pattern? And ultimately, it's all subjective. There's certain things that a lot of people would say sound good or don't. But, if you're playing with more of a groove band, you want to not play super busy and not play a lot of fills. If you're playing more with, like a Dream Theater band, obviously it's going to be a lot more technical, a lot busier. So it's all subjective of what fits. And you just want to start to build the ear so you know what musically fits. And, a lot of it is subjective. Somebody may play in a band and another drummer or another musician hears that doesn't sound good, A lot of this is subjective too, because you may be playing a gig and what you think sounds good, another musician may think that's too busy or it's boring because it's not busy enough, So it's all subjective. You just want to start building your ear so you know what fits. And ultimately, listening to what each section of the music is happening. What is the guitar playing? You should always know what the guitar, the bass, if there's vocals, keyboard, you should know what everyone's playing. And I think that's why most drummers have trouble figuring out, because they're just jamming. They're not aware, or that's why drummers lose gigs because they're playing too busy, because they're not listening to the whole band. They're thinking about their cool fills instead of listening to what the lyrics are, or they're kind of overpowering the vocalist. But if you're always listening to the music and you're always listening to what all the other instruments are playing, you'll always play something that fits, And that's really what we're trying to learn here, is what fits musically, why you play something, why you don't. So experiment with playing busier, playing a little more sparse, and then try to write it out, because ultimately that's the ultimate goal I want to have for all my students, is to be able to hear a great drummer and write out what they're doing, and then you can analyze it and know why they're doing it, so then you can incorporate that into your own playing. So I hope this was a fun series. I enjoyed doing this. It was a lot of fun. It's been great working with my students on this, and we're almost done. This is the last week. So let me know with my students. Bring in your recordings. We'll check it out. Anybody else, if you found this on YouTube, feel free to send me comments or questions. I'll be happy to answer anything. And if you want to send me a link of you playing it, recording the whole song or a section or a fill or a beat that you did, I would love to check it out on YouTube or Instagram. Or if you just want to send it to me, you could send it through Dropbox or something. But ultimately, I hope you had fun. I hope this is something you learned from. And also, if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel. Please give us a thumbs up. And there'll be a lot more videos like this to come. And let me know if you have other ideas of videos you'd like me to do, and I'd be happy to try it out. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.